Okay, we are live.
Hey everyone, welcome to Hacks Chats. Or Hack Chats, or Hacks Chat. That's probably it, Hacks Chat. RT Bear here, 35-year comic book veteran, working for mainly Marvel DC, but have done a little bit of work for Image as well. And with me, as always, is the talented and lovely Taylor Grasso.
Oh, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'll be reading your chat today. We do these live so you can chime in during the conversation, and I will be your voice for you.
We have some big news, right?
We have some very big news.
We have some, Taylor's going to read some articles, some interesting stuff. I'm going to draw and ink for you guys, and then we're going to just dump some cool shit on you.
Exactly.
I didn't know that was going to come out of my mouth until it came out. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to be dumping some stuff on you, but it's all going to be cool. And so, how have you been, Taylor?
How have you been, Art? I've been just fine.
I'm feisty, obviously. I didn't know how feisty. Once this microphone goes on, I go crazy.
You can't help it.
I go nuts.
It's the power of the Blue Yeti.
The Blue Yeti is possessing me.
We also have a pile of watermelon to eat that's right underneath the microphone, so it'll be like an ASMR video if anyone chooses to take a bite.
Yeah. You know what? It's getting hot. It's summertime. I wouldn't say it's hot out, but it's definitely watermelon season. So
It is. It's warm.
that's a good thing.
It is.
I like watermelon. You guys want to see the watermelon?
Let's take a look.
Let's take a look at the
Whoa,
watermelon.
look at that. And also this
In
watermelon.
case you guys thought we were BSing about the watermelon, oh, we're not.
No, sure enough, there it is.
That's real watermelon.
Ooh, what are you working on, Art?
This is a page that you had a lot of input on. So Taylor helped out with all these little minions.
Art's doing a killer job bringing it together. This is page... I don't know if I want to say. Will it be a spoiler to say the page number?
I don't know. Is it 36?
Maybe.
Look at... whoa, Vertigo. Yeah, there's the
Ooh.
page.
Those are some rebels.
Rebels without a clue. You know what they're saying right here? Should we say it?
They're saying...
Do it.
From the ashes.
From the ashes.
From the ashes.
That's what they're chanting. They're saying, from the ashes, from the ashes.
Yeah, they're set to go.
That may be a thing in this book, in this black and white book that we're working on. Oh, in case you guys don't know, you've been under a rock, Taylor and I are working on an indie book called Black and White. And it's a book that I started way long ago. Image Comics, 1994. I got a window of opportunity to publish my own book. And so Black and White is what came out of that. And so for the past 25 years, after I did the initial publishing and it came out, the dream never died. It was always there. That, and I would get asked about it a lot at conventions. So when I do conventions and shows, they go, when's more Black and White coming out? When's more Black and White coming out? And so then, smash cut to maybe last year, and I gave you a copy of the miniseries, Taylor?
That's right.
Yeah.
And I read it, saw what it was all about, saw what the fan base was into, and I thought it was amazing and was definitely the best. Every good thing about 90s comics is in that book.
Oh, thank you.
And it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, so because I was thinking I had to rework it, like for a modern sensibility, because it was 25 years ago. So I had done several drafts, actually a lot of drawing too. There's a lot of artwork that exists in that 25 years.
A lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. And so with her enthusiasm, which really, Taylor, you spearheaded this whole nutty thing, I started rethinking that maybe we keep the sensibilities similar. Like we do it with the 90s kind of sensibilities, but there are a lot of new elements to the story as well. But it's mainly a similar story to the original 3-issue miniseries.
Has the spirit.
It has the spirit, the essence, if you will. And if you guys are long-term listening to YouTube and following the Black and White shenanigans, you already know that we initially are naive lack of ambition started off with, oh, you know what? It's going to be remastered, and we'll just basically clean up some of the artwork and get it recolored and maybe tweak some of the dialogue.
Ha.
No. It's beyond that. I don't know how many new pages. I mean, I'd say half this book is probably new pages.
Maybe more.
Yeah, maybe more. And there's been maybe at least 3 completely different drafts of the dialogue and writing. And I would say maybe 10% of the initial writing, if even that, is still there.
Maybe, yeah. We tried to capture the spirit while making it all new.
Yeah.
We just got a super chat for $10.
Sweet.
From Mark C. Thank you, Mark C. And Mark says, "Are you sure you were close? I thought you, Mitch, and Ethan might be in competition for the longest period between campaign and book release. Just busting your balls. Looking forward to the book."
Balls busted. There's a horrible mess right now.
The best way to bust balls is with $10 in hand.
Yeah, if you're gonna hurt somebody, do it with green. Yeah. And you know what? If there's anybody else that wants to bust my balls for $10, go for it. All I know is, you know what? Sometimes perfection and sometimes greatness it takes time, man. And I'm not saying that this is going to, like change the comic industry or anything like that, but
it could.
That's true. It could.
I mean, we're not in charge of that.
See you guys now. This is why Taylor's amazing, because we don't dream small. We dream big.
That's for the fans to decide,
Yeah, they'll decide they like it. Oh, and what was it, Monday? We came up with a complete draft for Black and White 2.
We did. We have an outline set up.
Yeah, we have a really concrete beginning, middle, end, and we are trying to figure out ways to possibly lower the cover price of the book as well. So we can bring you, great product, but at a slightly, lower price.
It's always good.
Yeah.
The only reason we charge as much as we do is because we have to produce the book.
Yeah, but we figured out a lot of new ways to cut corners, and we have some great people we're partnering with, printers, different talent, things like that. So we've been trying, guys. We're moving and shaking. And should we, since we're just talking, should we talk about? Should we shift gears over to Chrono Mechanics?
Yeah, you know what? It's coming up organically. Let's shift gears. But we didn't even mention how beautiful this color piece you guys are seeing right now is.
Oh, they can see this?
They can see this.
Oh, okay.
And this is the thumbnail image, of course. But this is page... I don't know if I should keep saying page numbers.
It's okay.
It's page 49. It's a part of the splash you guys probably saw come together if you've been watching the channel loyally.
Yes.
And we're not going to show you the whole thing, but this is the latest color work. It's pretty killer. You
know what? Before we go to Chrono Mechanics, we'll tease that. Let's go to the Black and White campaign.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do that.
Let's see what this nuttiness is all about.
Oh, look.
Whoa.
Wow.
Black and White is successful.
I know. Look at that.
In a world where law and order are often blurred to gray, justice can only be Black and white.
And white.
See, that's what those three dots. That's the bomb aspect. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
So here's the Black and White campaign, and of course, we got Oodles on here as well. And if you don't know what Oodles is, it's the Art's first hardcover art book. It's a large collection of pinups, all kinds of stuff you've done.
Are we shilling? Let's do some shilling.
Well, there's not too many left.
We're shilling like the villain.
There's less than 50.
I have one here. You want to take a detour real quick?
Yeah, let's take a look. It's in a book.
Let's take a look. It's in the book.
Now the camera's a little dark, so the colors aren't exactly as bright as they are in real life.
So if you guys are also new to the channel, Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too is my first art book. It was all designed and put together by the fabulous and talented Taylor Grosso, aka Tag. And yes, I'm not going to show too much, but this one always seems to get the oohs and ahs. And so there's your logo. There's the Hack Shack Publishing logo. And I'm just going to show them this.
I mean, we could still do for super chat. Turn the page.
Turn the page for a super chat. Oh, we did get a super chat. So you know what? We'll turn the page again.
Ooh.
Yes. Ooh, ah. All right, you guys. I think there's around 25 of these left, and once they're gone, they're gone. And you know what? Let's stay focused still, and maybe give them the big news.
Okay, let me switch back over to the campaign.
And then we'll go chrono.
But yeah, Oodles is available in conjunction with Black and White. You can even get it in a bundle with Black and White, but there's not many left. It was a one-time print run. So, let's see where we're at on Black and White. This is the campaign page. If you guys haven't visited it, maybe you should. It's the first link in the description.
Yes, please, you guys. And thank you for all that have supported. Oh, how many? We got over 1,000 people now. I think 1,100.
We do. It's pretty crazy.
We'll scroll down and we can get the actual number.
We got.
Where is
it?
I thought it was. Wait.
Oh, maybe because we're not logged in.
Scroll up.
Oh, we're not logged in.
Oh, okay.
I guess that's why.
Yeah, but I think it's like 1,100, 1,200 people.
Yeah.
so thank you guys so much. And the Oodles book is attached to this campaign. And if you just buy the Oodles book alone, without it being bundled to the Black and White book, we can ship that out ASAP. We have them all printed up. They are here. That's why I wanted to show you that book earlier. So we can ship that out within days of your order. So those are going out now. Anybody who ordered the bundle with the Oodles book and the Black and White book, that's going to be shipped out at the same time the actual book does. And if you've noticed, if it's like an add-on like that, the shipping is a lot lower than if you bought two of the books separately.
Yes.
So if you guys want to save a little bit of cash in the shipping department, you can buy the combo art book and Black and White book.
Yeah. And there's always the Greg Capullo variant cover.
Yes.
If you want to, get both of those for your collection.
Okay, so are we doing the big news now?
Yeah, so Black and White is in demand right now. But do you want to drop the bomb?
You dropped the bomb on me.
Well, we've been in demand for a while. We're in demand now, so you can still get the book and you can still get your Oodles. However, we've decided on an end date. We're going to close out this in demand.
Yes.
And that is going to be at the end of the month on the 30th. So June 30th is the last day that you can get your copy of Black White Remastered Volume 1.
Yeah, so I know a few of you have been asking. You've been very, very patient with us on this campaign, and we appreciate that. We are putting every amount of effort and creative ideas that we can into this book to make it the best that it can possibly be. And for good, in good faith, June, we're going to cut it off 30th so you guys can see that we are edging to a deadline, and we are going to try our hardest to wrap it up by the end of next month. So by August, this book will be at the printers, and hopefully by the end of August, mid-August, we will start fulfilling the Black and White orders. So this is big news, and this is good news for us as well. This has been a long journey, and I'm so excited finally, Taylor, to be able to get this book into people's hands. Like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. We're kind of winding down our work. There's still some pages to do, but we are on the final stretch here, so we want to just close everything out.
Single digits.
Single digits, yes. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I'm telling you, we are going to have the biggest Hack Shack party when this book is finished. We're going to do champagne, man. We're going to be popping some corks. What else is very, what do you think? Maybe some caviar?
I've never had that before.
Fish eggs?
Is it good?
Yeah. No, it's gross. You know what else is gross? Well, it's
Actually,
okay.
I like fish eggs.
Do you?
On sushi, yeah, but it's not caviar.
It's probably similar.
It's orange.
I think caviar can be orange.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I've never been around it. I always pictures being black.
Well, wait a minute. What did I eat? Yeah, maybe it was. It was darker. I think I've had something orange too.
I mean,
just normal fish eggs. I like bird eggs.
Yeah,
like chicken eggs and stuff.
They're pretty good.
I don't know if I'd like a fish egg.
We could have those.
It's been a while. And also pate, like duck pate and goose pate. Do you like pate?
Durakin says, what about nachos and cheese?
You know what? It always sounds better than it. Like that nacho cheese, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like Velveeta.
It's a sludge.
It's not cheese.
Caviar is clear with a black dot inside.
There you go. Okay. I didn't think it was black.
Is the black dot the fish baby?
Stop. We're not going to want to eat it after that.
All right. So anyway, June 30th is the last day to get black and white.
Yes. So that's the big news. We are moving forward, you guys. Spread the word, brothers, sisters. Get out there. Let everybody know.
Before it's too late.
Yeah, we are counting this bad boy down. So if you want a book, you're going to have to order it between now and the 30th of this month. And just to wrap, we are going to come to an end, the end of next month. And then it usually takes like 3 weeks, maybe even a month, the printing. So
yes.
Maybe I misspoke with August. So it depends on what time we get them, the printers, the book.
But if we get it to them in August,
I'm thinking by the end of August, it will start being fulfilled. I can pretty much guarantee that part of it. Because I misspoke. I said like mid, but I did say I think I said mid to late
I think you're
August.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it'll probably be more like the end of August.
And we'll probably do a live stream, bash on that last day.
And we'll be eating our caviar and pate and champagne.
Man, people in the chat know a lot about caviar.
Well, they're decadent.
Ray Thulu says, it all depends on which species it came from. Traditionally, sturgeon is usually black.
Solid black?
I guess. Does it look like boba?
I don't know. When like sturgeon doesn't sound like an exotic fish.
Yeah, sturgeons are just like sharp-toothed river creatures.
Yeah, I'm like, who cares? Like, if it was like ooh, what if it was like, what if it was shark?
Ooh, they have live young.
Ooh, that'd be even better.
So it'd just be a baby.
That'd be cool.
Baby shark.
Eat them like sardines. Oh, put sharks on your pizza like sardines?
That's sad.
No, that'd be awesome. I like the idea of eating a shark. Like anything that can eat me, I like the idea of eating it first. It's like a preemptive strike.
Yeah, so the 30th.
We could be silly. That's what this is all about, man.
Preemptive strike. Mark your dates.
Mark your dates. Okay, so do we got that? That's the big news, right?
That is the big news.
So now, moving forward with the sorry guys, I'm eating a piece of watermelon. I thought Taylor would talk longer.
Sorry.
No.
Hey, look at this. Wawa-wee-wa. What is that?
Wawa-wee-wa. That is, that's one of the Chrono Mechanics characters, is it not?
It is Doug.
Doug. And this is from his world tour in 1978.
Man, that was a good one.
Do you want to hit them what the Chrono Mechanics are all about?
Yeah, so if you guys don't know the lowdown of Chrono Mechanics are time repairmen, but not time machine, time itself, because time is in fact a big machine. And when the machine breaks down, you gotta have mechanics come fix it. And the mechanics are assembled from different places in time, one of which here you see is Doug. He's a 70s rock god, and he's a part of Team 9.2.
Of Sector 7.
And he has some teammates he works with. He's got Zin, who's an alien, possibly a child deity.
Oh, he is. Yeah. I mean, he's worshipped by lower life forms.
Yeah, I want to say cult leader.
Kind of cultish, but definitely lower life forms. So, not the smarter of the galaxy worships him.
Then you got Oot, he's a caveman ahead of his time. And we got Caravaggio, who's kind of an unrecognized artist from the Renaissance, and they make up Team 9.2.
Well, Oot is a prehistoric businessman.
He is. He's beyond just a regular caveman.
Yeah, he's got a real estate thing going on in his time, and it's the cave condo. Yeah, so he basically guts caves, and these condos, by the way, you guys, fully furnished. They even have fireplaces. Yes.
Advanced.
Some say he may have even invented fire. Can you invent it?
I mean, he did.
Maybe he just capitalizes on it. Like no, not a lot of people know about it, so he knows how to make it. So the biggest selling point with the condos is heat. I mean, it's a fire.
The world may never know whether he did it or not.
Well, we know.
We know the truth.
We know the truth. You guys might not, because we might not tell you in the comic, but we know.
You'll have to read to find out.
Yeah, and he's because he's so successful, man. He's got the hottest chick in the prehistoric time.
His name Lemmy?
Yes. It's Lemmy and Oot forever.
Aww.
Yeah, and my daughter at 6 or 7 came up with both those names.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Oot and Lemmy are both Amanda creations as far as names, yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, so Caravaggio is kind of like his namesake. He is a frustrated Renaissance inventor, painter, and if you guys have, there's a little bit of drama attached to Caravaggio, the real Caravaggio. So the chronomechanics version of Caravaggio is similar. He's a little grumpy. He's a little... He just feels like he didn't get his due.
He's frustrated.
In his timeline. He doesn't have the respect of, say, Da Vinci or some of these other guys. He calls Da Vinci a hack. And you know what? On some level, I agree. Because didn't Da Vinci, in the chat, you guys will correct me if I'm wrong. I know you will. Wasn't Da Vinci, there's like only 3 finished paintings in his lifetime, right?
Yeah, I think he's mostly known for unfinished sketches overall.
Yeah, his sketchbook and a lot of paintings, but unfinished. So it was the Last Supper, right? Mona Lisa. And what was the third?
Is it The Lady in the Ermine?
I don't know.
Doug Durakin wants to know if Doug is based off of Doug TenNapel.
No, but I met Doug way back when it was the image. It was San Diego Comic-Con, and we were publishing the first volume of Chronomechanics, and Doug was. I kind of knew of him, but I didn't really know him that well at that time. And Doug was trying to. He just showed up at the show, and he didn't have a table to shield his book. And so he just comes up. I didn't even know him. He goes, "Hey, would you be willing to share your table with me?" And I was like, I don't know. And I had some business partners at the time, and they were kind of helping pay the booth and stuff like that. So I didn't feel it was right. I think otherwise, I'm usually pretty gung-ho. I probably would have said, yeah, sure, no problem. And so like 2 doors down, he ended up hanging out with somebody there. This was in the Image publishing area. And yeah, so Doug and I got to know each other the 4 or 5 days at the show because he sat right across from me. And we became pretty good friends. Even then, this was 10 years ago or so, he was already a veteran at like self-publishing and things like that. And even though I came up the Image ranks, I hadn't a lot of experience putting out my own books. So he was kind of my first mentor as far as doing that. And we stayed in contact with each other years later. And he was nice enough to do a quote. So we do have a quote from him where he talks about chronomechanics, and it's pretty favorable. It's really cool. So Doug was a really cool, and he was very instrumental in the early, Chrono Mechanics. Just even sometimes when you have somebody on that caliber that says something nice about your work, you feel like, it's worthwhile, and that, that it might find a following. Because that's the real hard part when you're self-publishing, is to have faith that it's going to find an audience.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And hopefully it will in Comicsgate.
Yeah, so we did Zin, we did Caravaggio, we did Oot, and yeah, so Doug is a 70s rock god, and that's pretty much self-explanatory. So he was the king of the anthem rock of the time. So he's kind of like, he's a cross between, I always thought he's a cross between Aerosmith frontman Steven Tyler and Ted Nugent.
That's a good combo.
Yeah, and he's kind of a hick. He's kind of an idiot savant, but has one major gift other than the voice that would would rock forever, and a guitar that just shreds. But he also has dumb luck. So that's where he fits into the Chrono team.
Yeah, it's kind of like his superpower.
Yeah.
So, if you read that terrible Domino story recently in Marvel, you can go ahead and put that down if you want another luck-themed character.
Yeah, but this, yeah.
If you
this
want
one's way cooler, yeah.
That Domino book sucked.
I'm going to start inking.
All right. Let's take a little peek before I start reading some of these articles. Yeah. So stay tuned for more on Chrono Mechanics.
Yeah, so we'll keep you abreast on what's going on there, and we are looking, once Black and White goes into fulfillment, putting out Chrono Mechanics. So that's why we're talking about it right now. So we're giving you guys a little bit of an early I guess advertisements, little early warning.
I want to let you know what Hack Shack has on the schedule.
Yes. Soon.
Also, we have some very strange news in the comic book world as of late. Art, are you ready for that?
Yeah, I've got to find the right pin. But yeah, I can listen and find my pin.
I'll skip over and screen share while you're doing that. Because did you know that this year at San Diego, Warner Brothers is skipping Hall H panel for the first time in years?
What?
That's right. San Diego Comic-Con 2019 is quickly approaching, but this year fans will have to do without one of the biggest attractions of the convention, because Warner Brothers will be skipping its big panel in Hall H, which it's done for years. It's been confirmed that Warner Brothers is indeed skipping SDCC this year, though no real reason or logic for the decision has yet been revealed. It seems like an odd year to take off, considering that DC Films division alone has some big projects coming later this year / early next year.
So wait, I just have to clarify. So are they just not going to be in Hall H, or they're not going to be at the show at all?
Apparently they're not going to be at the show at all.
Ooh.
So it says the studio has just cast a new Batman. The first details of Matt Reeves' upcoming Batman solo film is starting to drop. There's the Joker origin film. There's Birds of Prey. There's Wonder Woman. And that's just all the DC stuff. But besides DC in general, because Warner Brothers itself is skipping, they got the Godzilla King Kong crossover film. They got the newest remake of Dune. And they have the Akira adaptation, which I didn't know if that was for sure happening, but apparently. And the next installment of Fantastic Beast. So none of those films are going to get any showcase in Hall H this year.
Yeah, or at all, because apparently DC's not going to... Oh, look at that. Look what I did.
And Durakin, according to Durakin, he says Sony is also not going to be at E3. What is with these big companies skipping out?
Yeah.
So the explanation may lie in the patterns of history. Warner Brothers, especially its DC division, have held massive Hall H panels in past years, promoting things like Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, and Justice League. And we all know what happened to those films when they left the testing grounds at SDCC and tried to make their respective marks in the mainstream movie-going audience. But those movies are all bad. Since those controversial missteps, DC's SWB has been exploring much more controlled methods of marketing and promoting their movies, primarily by promoting engagement between filmmakers and their audience. DC's biggest success, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, were largely director-driven marketing and promotional campaigns, despite getting some featured exposure at Comic-Con. So I guess their mentality is that they're gonna not mass promote.
Wonder Woman, they promoted the hell out of at San Diego. What are they talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds not right to me. Because Aquaman was super promoted too.
Yeah.
So,
I thought San Diego was kind of built now. The new San Diego, just as kind of what do they call those like the Sundance, like it's like a film festival. It's like a new like product, where they put out all their new movies, their new product. What do they call it? Where they just preview everything. It's less of a comic convention and more of that. So I don't know why they're bailing out. They turned this con into a showcase for the films and stuff, and now they're not being part of it.
yeah, there's some really suspicious, strange things happening at DC right now. I don't know if they're all, connected. But,
Well, Marvel one year announced that they were pulling out.
Was that last year or the year before?
It was a while ago. And so I think Marvel the publishing, they don't really have a table. I think just Marvel the film company has a spot.
That's right. Yeah, it's really weird. Like you said, they've kind of built this con into being solely about, previewing these movies, and Hollywood's kind of pushed a lot of the comic stuff out. And now it's like they're not going to have these big panels in the halls. Like it's kind of a strange switch up after building up for these years.
Well, you know what? What's interesting is, I think we talked about it last stream, that we're not going. Taylor and I aren't going to the show this year. And this will be the first time in a long time that I just didn't go. Period. Like sometimes I'll go with the family or I'll just go to hang out. I don't always, like, quote unquote, do the show. But this year I'm not even going. Period.
Durakin says it's that these companies are losing a ton of money due to their stupidity, and E3/Comic-Con just isn't that worthwhile for promotion because SJWs have ruined them.
Yeah, I was going to jump to the chase, but yeah, I mean, it's always about money. I mean, these things are always about cash, to try to save some money. And the comic books just aren't really selling that well, apparently. So I guess I can see it, but for somebody like me that has been going to the show for a long time and it's always been about comic books, then when the change happened, you're just kind of like, oh, well, it's Hollywood, what are you going to do? It's still kind of a fun show to go to and meet your friends and hang out. But now, like, they built this thing, they kicked all the comic book people out, and now they're not even going to show up anymore? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's like they came and just, like, shut down the party. It's really weird.
Yeah, they took over, and then, yeah, like you said, shut it down.
So that's not all that's going on with DC right now, because Swamp Thing just got canceled. Some of you guys, if you've been following it, probably already know about this, but Swamp Thing, which I believe they just came out with one episode, has already been canceled, but not for the reason you may think. So this article is from comicbook.com. Today, DC fans got a shock, as it was announced that DC Universe's newest series, Swamp Thing, has been canceled after just airing its premiere episode last week. However, in unfolding reports about Swamp Thing's cancellation, there seems to be some confusion as to why the show was canceled. But now those details seem to be coming to light. Here's the case laid out by the industry writer/reporter John Golson, which has to do with more than just creative differences, but rather the financial dealings of the state of North Carolina, where Swamp Thing was shot. So I guess John posted on Twitter. He says, in this article about Swamp Thing, there seems to be some confusion as to why the sudden shutdown. The reasons didn't hit the entertainment trades, but they did hit the news in North Carolina. North Carolina was promised a $40 million tax rebate that, due to a paperwork error, they were unable to deliver. That was roughly
Wait a minute. North Carolina offered a tax rebate to DC or Warner Brothers?
I don't know. I'm very confused by the way he phrased it, because he says North Carolina promised a $40 million tax rebate. So I guess promised it to DC.
Okay.
Like you said, they were unable to deliver. That was roughly half the proposed budget for season 1, which is estimated at $80 million. When North Carolina discovered the error, so I guess they quoted them too much money. How does that work?
Okay.
When North Carolina discovered the error, they corrected it. WB shut down production, realizing they'd be taking a bath on the rebate and paying for far more of it than they assumed. The adjusted number from NC is something like 14 million. That's a massive difference. So they promised them, how does that happen? They promised them 40 million rebate, but they really meant 14. So I guess DC just couldn't fit that price tag. 14 wasn't enough of a rebate.
Wait, so he's saying they misquoted them the rebate?
Yes.
How do you get that far into a production and have that kind of error?
Also, how do you go from 40 to 14? Like, it'd be really hard to, you know what I mean? If it was just an error. Like, how does that work? It's a huge difference.
Yeah, this sounds fishy.
Doesn't sound quite right. So the article goes on to say, indeed, a simple cursory look at reporting out from North Carolina confirms that back in late April, a miscommunication between the North Carolina House of Representatives and the Department of Commerce left the state's film grant program unfunded for the fiscal year. The grant program acts as a sort of rebate to productions after they have finished shooting in the state, a rebate that DC and Warner Brothers were counting on to balance the books on Swamp Thing. When the funding error was realized, the impact was a reported $85 million hit for season 1 of Swamp Thing, a cost which forced DC Universe to scale back the episode order. Now the cost-cutting incentives of shooting in North Carolina are gone. There's no reason for DC, says WB, to keep the production at the ready for a season that wouldn't be cost-effective to even make.
Oh man, that stinks.
That does. That sucks. So it sounds like they just couldn't afford to shoot the show.
I thought when you first read that it was going to be like Disney pulling out of what was it, Georgia? But I'm glad that this wasn't over politics for once.
Yeah, I know, because at first that's what we were all thinking when we heard the announcement. I'm glad they explained themselves. Maybe they can go film in Georgia now. It might be cheaper for them.
Yeah, I think that they should, if Disney pulls out all the infrastructure that Disney built, I think Warner Brothers should go in there and just swoop it up.
Durakin says, filming locations are usually selected by who's willing to give them the biggest rebate, which is also set off by the amount of business that is brought in, similar to the convention hall bidding.
Well, it's like Canada's been doing that for years with animation and stuff like that, and even production. A lot of productions go to Canada to film because they don't have to worry about the unions and the costs and stuff like that. I just think it's so weird that Hollywood has priced themselves out of doing business here in Hollywood. It's pretty crazy.
Well, do you think just the Hall H thing in conjunction with this cancellation of Swamp Thing, maybe DC is just doing really bad financially and is trying to recover, like...
Yeah, well, I mean, just think about, okay, if they were to keep the production of Swamp Thing going, they'd be out that money, but they're also still out money by not doing the production because they're not making any money. True. So whatever their quarterly statements were to their shareholders and stuff, they can't make that now.
It's rough for sure. There's also, just to add to the weirdness of this unfolding tale of DC, apparently DC's Universe streaming service is reportedly being reevaluated. So, not only is Swamp Thing canceled, but it seems the streaming landscape may be changing for several superheroes at DC Entertainment. That's a really weird way to phrase this article, comicbook.com. In the wake of reports confirming the cancellation of Swamp Thing, A piece by Deadline suggests the DC Universe platform is currently being reevaluated by executives. Not long ago, Deadline shared a piece with the cancellation Swamp Thing, and they said that the DC Universe is being reevaluated, much like every other initiative housed under Warner Media. This report visited is being done in light of AT&T's acquisition of Time Warner. The merge created Warner Media, the company now overseeing platforms such as DC Universe. In the past, reports have suggested that Warner Media is focused on creating a versatile streaming service of its own, and Deadline reports questions have been asked about how the DC Universe fits into those plans. So, the latest series haven't really been wowing the higher-ups overseeing DC Universe, but apparently Doom Patrol has been kind of a hit, I guess, and that's their only big success they've had as far as original.
Well, I saw. Is the camera still on here, or is it on you?
I'll switch it over.
Oh no, it's cool. You don't have to. I was just asking. So Swamp Thing is canceled. Did you ever see the trailer for that, Taylor?
I actually didn't.
It looked pretty good. Like, I was actually a little hopeful for it. It looked like good horror. So I was thinking, like, between that and, like, Doom Patrol, that possibly they had a chance at, I don't know, making some kind of impact. And this is really shocking. Well, you know what? I shouldn't be too surprised at it. This is pretty standard Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers always does this. They start things in motion, and then they have no idea of how to fulfill them, and they do that every time. Like, even DC Comics, anything DC Comics does that's really good, at some point they'll destroy it because they can't sustain any level of success. And I think Warner Brothers is such a compartmentalized company that it's hard for them. Like, there's one hand that doesn't know what the other hand is doing there. And I remember, because I've had a couple of friends that have had, I visited them, you know, at the lot there and hung out, and they've said stuff like they explained how, like say the Batman universe worked, and this is all past tense. I don't know how it works now, but like the Bat universe at Warner Brothers could be split. Like, there's a faction that oversees Batman, but there's another faction that oversees, like, Batgirl or the Joker. Like, they're not. It's not like the whole Bat family is always all one group. So then they have to work with other departments or other people that are controlling those characters or those ideas. So they have to work with them. So it's very compartmentalized. I remember a conversation with, it was Mike, Superman editor, Mike Carlin and Mark Waid, who was like, I forget what Mark was editing at the time, but Mark Waid wanted to use a Superman character, or Superman. And I remember him and Mike getting into it about, like, not being able to use a character in their book. So I think it was Mike was saying to Mark Waid, like, you can't use Superman. Like, it was a story or something like that Mike didn't approve of. Like, he didn't think this was good for Superman. And so then, you know, they got into it about the use of the character. So it started getting me to think, like, this is within, like, they were like two offices down from each other, and one had control of one thing and one had control of the other, and those guys had to work things out for those characters to be in the same book. So sometimes these things aren't as united as you think they are. You know what I mean? Like Suicide Squad, as far as a film franchise, might be under one umbrella at Warner Brothers, but Harley Quinn might be under a different one. So they don't always kind of mesh together and work well together. And I just think that Warner Brothers as a company is all over the place. And I think for any kind of, like, film franchise, you know how they were talking about a coherent, like, Marvel, or, like, like a Marvel Universe type of idea.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're ever going to be able to do that because the company they don't work well together. You know what I mean? Like the company doesn't work well with itself.
Yeah, they can't even collab properly.
Yeah, so they always have like with the case in point with the streaming service. Like, okay, DC puts out the streaming service. Yeah, very very cool. Like that's where things are headed. And then now Warner Brothers is like, oh, well, we're not really sure about that. Well, somebody signed off on it, right? Like, how does that stuff happen?
Yeah, like, you'd think they'd be sure before they actually enacted it as being a thing.
Yeah, and then one would also think before you had a film franchise that was all going to have movies that were interchangeable as far as the universe, you'd think that you'd have a better overview on what that was going to be. But they don't. You know what I mean? Like, they just don't. And sometimes they don't even know what they have. Like, case in point, they put out Iron Giant and then they didn't get behind it promotionally. And this movie is like, has major impact on, sci-fi, fans, comic book fans, animation fans. It got the nod of Disney. Disney was like, we want Brad Bird, Pixar. You know what I mean? And then Warner Brothers is just like, oh, well, we had that guy, but...
Not good enough.
Yeah, we didn't really know what to do with it.
Durakin says, I think they're making excuses. Someone is either making big mistakes that they shouldn't be making in the accounts department, which is unlikely, or they're taking action based on ideology.
I hope it's not ideology.
I don't know, that seems like more of a Marvel thing. I think it's more, I think you're right, Art. I think it's just, this is the way DC's always kind of been. It's par for the course.
They'll always shoot themselves in the foot because one thing I thought, this is a little bit tangenty, but that DC always seems like they want so bad to be Marvel, and I think in some ways they're better than Marvel, but they never embrace what makes them great. And I just think that's one of the fundamental problems.
Yeah, I agree. Edwin says, listening as I drive and Friday night auctions. Art, give me something to sell.
Oh, cool.
Hey, Edwin. P Money says, hey everyone, the end is near. I get my black and white soon. Woohoo!
Yes.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Let's celebrate. Take it to the streets.
You know what we should also celebrate, though not really. That was a horrible line for a segue. Art, did you hear the Joker plot has been leaked for the standalone Joker movie?
This might be celebratory. I don't know. Let's listen and find out.
If you guys don't want you don't want spoilers for the new Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, because that's gonna be a thing. I couldn't think of another adjective to describe it with. Beware, because there's spoilers ahead. So,
Rocky spoilers ahead.
It's been leaked. First of all, the movie's going to be rated R. The standalone Joker movie.
Thank goodness.
Todd Phillips is directing it, and supposedly there's a very controversial twist. I don't know what that is, but that's what they keep saying.
Well, it's already rated R, so that would be a big twist unto itself.
Yeah. That is the controversial twist. So, these are the spoilers we have. It's fairly well known that Joker will be set in Gotham City, but it seems the film will take place in 1981. As a psychological thriller, the setting might not have as large of an impact on the plot as a whole compared to a sci-fi or an action flick, but it'll be interesting to see a less high-tech version of Gotham, unlike Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. Now, I kind of disagree with that. I don't know what you think, Art. Like, the Dark Knight trilogy, Gotham itself just seemed like a modern city. I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't seem overly high-tech.
Like, Batman had high-tech stuff, but I thought that...
The city itself, yeah.
I didn't see the city as, like, a future tense city. Arthur Fleck, the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, is a no-name clown who works for a talent booking agency and he'll reportedly have a social worker who keeps a close watch on him as a result of his serious mental issues. As seen in the film's trailer, also Arthur...
Already off to a bad start. A social worker, and he basically entertains children.
Yeah. As seen in the film's trailer, Arthur also serves as a caretaker for his ailing mother, who once worked as a housekeeper for the Waynes. Speaking of the city's most prolific family, Thomas Wayne is running for mayor, and it seems he's been ignoring his former employees who have tried to reach out to him. Interesting. After Arthur loses his job, he'll finally snap and kill 3 Wall Street elites.
Because that's what you do when you lose a job.
Can't help it. Which eventually inspires a resistance against Gotham's elite, driving a wedge between the rich and the poor. While we previously reported on the rumor that Bruce Wayne and Arthur are half-brothers, it seems this particular twist may not play out. Duh, I knew that was not going to happen. Apparently, though, Arthur's mom was obsessed with Thomas. She never had a kid with him. It also said that Fleck was abused by his mother's boyfriend as a child, and once he finds out she was complicit, he exacts his revenge on her. There will be... Gee, that sounds like a pleasant movie.
This sounds absolutely horrible.
This sounds like...
It doesn't sound like it has anything to do with the Joker at all.
Fun. There will be an interesting spin on how Thomas and Martha are murdered, as it won't be what we've come to know from previous Batman stories. The movie ends with Arthur having completely lost his mind and locked away in Arkham Asylum for murdering a key character. Gee, I wonder who. Regardless of whether or not this all ends up making the final cut, it seems that we're in for a pretty wild and unexpected film. And luckily, we won't have to wait too long to see how things turn out, as Joker hits theaters October 4th.
I heard somebody speculate that the whole 80s thing was going to be somehow like tied into like a new DC move to create a new universe that's all based in the 80s. Because that Wonder Woman movie is based in the 80s too, right?
Yes, it is. It's based in 84.
This sounds like at first I thought it was an interesting idea, but then the more you think about it, it sounds like a really bad idea.
I think there's like, we've talked about it before, but there's kind of a weird flaw in even making a Joker origin story that doesn't quite work there.
Well, I think DC and Warner Brothers has to get over the fact that these characters are codependent on Batman, and without Batman in the story, they don't have any weight.
Yeah.
Like trying to do Birds of Prey without Batman, Batman's daughter. It's just weird. Like, why do this? It doesn't make any sense. The only reason they're cool and people like them is because they're linked to Batman.
It's like when you go to a party and like one of your good friends is going to be there, but they're bringing a friend, that you don't know as well. And then your real friend ends up not showing up, so you're forced to hang out with like an acquaintance that's a friend of a friend. And you're like, well, they must be cool because, Bruce likes him, but you just don't connect with them. And
yeah,
it doesn't quite feel right because the whole time you're just thinking like, man, this guy's a lot cooler when Bruce is around.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason the Joker's cool is because of the Batman. And to try to do a one-and-done Joker story, I think is a little weird. I like the Joker, but I don't know if I necessarily would like a 2-hour movie just based on the Joker, because I just feel like it's just going to turn into like a crazy person movie for 2 hours. You know what I mean? Like I'm not that interested in to watch a crazy person for 2 hours.
I mean, we saw that with the Spider-Man movie with Electro, and that was terrible. Because he was, like, taking care of his ailing mother, and it sounded similar in that way.
Yeah, they all tie into, like, what is his, the Psycho stuff. I can't remember the Psycho character's name. Where the mom says his name.
I can't remember either. Darn it. I just keep thinking about that scene from Spider-Man, that deliver us from evil, when you said that.
It's just kind of the same idea.
Finish it.
Finish it.
Those eyes, those horrible yellow eyes.
That was Aunt May, right?
Yes, that part's hilarious. He like explodes her wall. Let's see. Draken says, Joker has a name. They already messed it up. As a fan of Batman, this sounds like complete shit.
Yeah, I think the Joker is only as cool as Batman is. I think they are very codependent. I think Batman can have adventures outside of the Joker. And, you know, if you're writing it as a monthly or a serialized story, you could have a more Joker-centric story. Yeah. But I don't know if anybody really wants to watch the Joker for 2 hours. I don't think he's that interesting of a character. He's just freaking crazy.
I think also just elaborating on his backstory destroys him as a character in a lot of ways. Like, have you seen a single good Joker backstory that you actually enjoyed?
No, it's also like, you know, having you brought that up is that the reason characters like Wolverine and stuff are cool is because they're the mystery man. You don't really know what their backstory is. You don't know what motivates them or where they actually came from. And I thought what was great about the Nolan films is that the Nolan films did a bunch of hypotheticals, but he was so crazy and he contradicted himself so much, you didn't know what to believe.
And it adds to his character in that way, because you just keep thinking, like, he must have been through some deep shit to, like, have these problems.
Yeah, but you also didn't know if those problems he was saying were factual or not.
Like, it could be even worse, we'll never know.
It could be, yeah. You just didn't know. And I thought that's what made him interesting, is that there was a lot of speculation on what made him that way, versus actually spoon-feeding a reason. Like, well, this is why he's bad. This is the moment that turned him evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's pretty genius, actually, to have him tell different people different backstories. And they did that in Mad Love, the Paul Dini story, which is, like, where Batman, you know, it's kind of like Harley and Joker's main story, I guess. They did an animated version of it that was really good. But they showed that he told all of his shrinks different stories. And that's why she was sympathetic towards him. Because Batman tells her, like, he always tells someone a different story, and he like recites a variation of the story that, you know, Joker had told Harley.
Yeah, and it just adds to the mythology, and it just, he's just nuts. He's crazy.
Yeah, like, it doesn't really matter why he is that way.
Yeah, none of it matters. It doesn't help the character. You know, you like the character more. And even when I was a kid, I never wanted to know, like, what makes the Joker the Joker? I never really, what's his origin? I never even really cared. I thought the most interesting thing was just, you know, they'd set up a crazy situation and then Batman would have to, you know, overcome that.
Yeah, definitely. How do you feel about the idea of just a Joker standalone story in general?
Well, when I was a kid, the Joker had his own series, and I thought it was okay. But it's one thing, you know, you have a 25-cent comic book, and it's, you know, a month worth of entertainment, or not a month, you know, a few minutes, like 20 minutes worth of entertainment, versus a big screen, you know, 2-hour extravaganza, which I don't know, it makes me scrutinize the situations and the characters more, and just to think, like, is this worthwhile to do?
Yeah.
Do people want to go to the theater and watch this type of movie? There's a lot of movies about crazy people that already exist. The reason this one's so entertaining is because there's an equal and opposite crazy character in the story, which is Batman.
Yeah, you're right about that. I think that is the appeal. People always underestimate that aspect, I think. Let's see. Removing the other heroes from Batman is fine, Draken says, but trying to remove the villains is a problem because they are taking aspects of Bruce and how that aspect could go wrong. Joker is overhyped as a character. He was only in maybe 2 or 3 stories in the 20 or 30 years of comics until 2011, when people who think the Joker is important started putting him in everything. I mean, he's popular for a reason. I think he is a good character.
but he can be overused, which
Yeah.
I think that they're doing right now. And to be honest, I don't mean to correct, but the Joker is the exact. He's the perfect villain to Batman because he's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
And the reason the Nolan, I'm just gonna say it right now, the Nolan version of the Joker will never be topped. Motivationally, it will never be topped because what they did is they stripped that character down, and the reason he's a real threat to Batman is he is pure anarchy. He's not like, oh, I'm a punk rocker and it's cool, I'll put an anarchy I'll spray paint that on the wall. He's not a poser. That character in that movie really believes it.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they put it up, where they said, I think it was Alfred says, some people just want to see things burn, the world burn. That's all the motivation that there is in that character. That's all the Joker wants. He doesn't care about anything else. He just wants to see the world burn. And when you have a character like that, you can't reason with them. You can't convince them. You can't. There's nothing you can do. When he burns all that stack of money, like, nothing matters to him. So how do you fight somebody like that doesn't care about anything? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's a foe. That's a threat. And they played at ideas like, oh, well, Joker's an anarchist. He's crazy. He's this, he's that. But they never kind of distilled it down to just its purest form, which they do in that movie, where he is just that one thing. There's nothing else to him. He's a one-direction, one-dimensional character. He just wants to see the world burn.
Yeah,
that's it.
He's chaos incarnate.
Yeah. And when you think about it, it seems like, oh yeah, no shit. But that is genius, just distilling him down to just that one thing, because you can't, and he's very, very smart. He's very intelligent. So how do you fight somebody like that? And for somebody that's like Batman, because Batman's not super powered or anything, that's quite a foe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then, like all these other things, they try to go, oh, well, he was abused, or he was this or that, or, they give him all the reasons. It's like, no, who cares? The scariest version of the Joker I've ever seen was the Chris Nolan version.
Oh, definitely.
That dude scared the crap out of me. And they did such a good job of just always reminding you, this isn't a normal human being. This man doesn't care about anything. He would do whatever it took to throw you off of the edge. And one of the things that Frank Miller brought up, was it in Dark Knight Returns? And I thought it was always pretty genius, and I had never really read this before about the Joker. But the Joker solely exists to F with Batman. Like, the Joker...
Yeah, that's all he wants.
The Joker doesn't want to kill Batman. The Joker never did. The Joker just wants to mess with the guy. Like, that's what gets him off.
Where he's like, I don't want to kill you. You're too much fun.
Right. And yeah, I think they said it in the movie, in the new movie, or the Nolan film as well. So they definitely plugged into that Frank Miller line. And I thought that was always pretty smart because, at some point, don't you go, well, if the Joker wanted Batman dead, he could be killed. You know what I mean? Like, it's not out of the realm.
He's had opportunity multiple times.
Yeah.
P Money says, I'm still waiting for the 3 Joker comic coming out. Anybody know when that is? I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty much checked out on mainstream comics right now.
Likewise. That, I think the last Joker story we read was that White Knight book.
The Gordon Murphy stuff, yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a pretty neat take.
It ended kind of with a whimper, but I thought it began and the middle was very good. And it's all very well done artistically.
But yeah, I don't know if anybody in the chat is really looking forward to that new Joker movie. I'm not.
Let us know if you're looking forward to that Joker movie. It'd be interesting to hear your take.
Love that Joker.
I would like to see it because it sounds bizarre.
I'm sure it'll be. I'm sure it'll be acted well. I'm sure it'll be very well done. It just won't be the Joker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely won't.
It'll be a good movie.
Someone in the chat said it best, and they said it sounds like an okay movie without its affiliation to being related to Batman.
Yeah.
In other news, Kevin Smith said that he wants to do a Netflix about The Question.
Of course. He'll abandon that the way he did the Green Hornet
and everything else. So he said, which by the way, I thought his big thing was Batman. He's like, my DC is always The Question. I think that would make such a great series. There must be a reason why they're not doing it. And I know they've got some weird ownership issues with the character because he came through Charlatan Deal. God, I can't read that. And they bought them. I don't know if that included movie rights or something like that. But I've loved that. I think The Question would be effing great. So he's, I guess, just expressed interest in doing it.
Yeah, I don't think... I mean, he might jockey his way into a position, but I doubt it. I don't know why anybody would give that guy any work. He's pretty flaky.
Yeah. Like you said, I think it'd just be another project he abandoned.
I know firsthand, I'm sitting on 3 issues of Batman widening Geyer that he never finished writing.
Yeah. He definitely has a pattern. I'm just not... I don't know. The Question's an interesting character, but...
He's the shadow. Like, he's the mystery kind of character.
There's also... The Phase 4 for the Marvel movies have been leaked. Supposedly. I think some of them we knew what to expect for the next tier of Marvel movies.
Yeah, I think some of that had been announced.
So they had... Is this stream slowing down? Let's see. Sticky Wicket says Kevin Smith is trying to take down Hack Shack.
He tried, actually.
And he failed.
He tried to hurt me. His quote was like, when I wouldn't just do what he wanted, he's like, why do you call me sir? He goes, why can't, like in an email, we were having a little bit of trouble, and I was just kind of asking questions like, why can't I sell the originals? Why can't I do this? You know, and I can't go through DC because DC is just like, well, I don't know. It's up to Kevin. So,
hold on, I think our stream just went offline.
Uh-oh.
This is a good story.
Well, I'm going to use this as a potty break.
I'm going to see if I can get this back up and running here. Are we back?
Are we back? Tell. I'm going to have a piece of watermelon and then use the restroom.
I think we are back, but we're on a delay. Let me check these technical difficulties out. If you guys were gone while the stream was offline, because I can't tell if we're still functioning or not. You missed a very good story from Art about some experience with Kevin Smith. Sticky Wiggins says, wait, what happened? He'll be back and we'll continue the tale. I'm just trying to make sure that our stream health is okay. Because apparently we blinked out for a minute there. There we go. I think we're good. Looks like we're a little bit behind though. All right, I think we're back. There we go. We're back.
We're back in black and white.
But our stream has very bad health right now.
Oh, should we give it some vitamin C?
I'm trying.
Pump that sucker full of some C. Let's get it back. Put a Band-Aid on it.
People want to hear your tale about Kevin Smith.
You know, I was thinking maybe I should back up on the tale, give him the full story.
Yeah, I mean it's a good one.
It's a page turner.
Let me make sure.
Well, let me know when we should do this. Let's do this thing.
Let's see. By the way, this is YouTube's fault. Okay, I guess we're good for now.
Okay, are we good?
Yeah. So let's back up a little bit. So Art, what was your first encounter with Kevin Smith as far as him creating things?
Okay, so this is a few years back, and I guess they had done I forget what it was called now. It wasn't Widening Gyre. It was something else. There was like a mini series that Kevin Smith and Walter Flanagan did. And Walter Flanagan is one of the comic book guys. What was that TV show called?
Comic Book Men.
Comic Book Men.
A boring show that took place after The Walking Dead when it was relevant.
Yeah, and so it was, strangely enough, it was edited. The first editor on the book was Dan DiDio. It was like a pet project. So Dan contacted me. Well, actually, first Kevin did. Kevin Smith asked me if I'd be interested, and so I said sure. And then DiDio messaged me and asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said sure. So Dan's main thing for hiring me was he knew I could draw, he knew I could pencil, and he knew that I had done a lot of finishing stuff work in my career, so that I could polish, weaker pencils or bring things up to a professional standard. So he expressed that to me, and then, oh my gosh, you guys, I know some people bag on Dan DiDio, but I'll never say anything bad about him unless he does something completely horrible. But he gave me an absurd page rate, and he said, whatever you need to do to make this stuff look good, you have, my blessing, kind of thing. And so I was like, wow, cool. And so then Kevin came in and said, that's all good and fine, but I need a sample. I need a sample from Art. And you guys, I've been doing this for 35 years.
Not good enough, apparently, for him.
I'm sorry. I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I don't do samples. And so I told him, I was like, I'm not going to do it. And so then, 'cause I was busy with other, I have deadlines. I have things that are paying me and stuff. I can't just stop and do a sample. And so then they threw a bunch of money at me, and it was just a panel. So it was a key panel that I was to ink and do finishes on. And so I did that, and I kicked butt on it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought I was bringing Walter Flanagan's fan pencils up to a pretty good standard, and I was killing myself because I got to earn that money. That I don't take that stuff lightly. So if you're going to pay me that kind of money, I'm going to give you a great product. And so so it seemed like everything's a go. Like Kevin's like, yeah, Art, you're one of the guys. Let's go. We're a team. And so we're working on this. We're trying to move it forward. I think I turned in about 8 pages, and then I get notes. I get notes from Kevin, and Kevin's like, I can't see any of Walter's work here. Like, it seems to be, unrecognizable as Walter's pencils. And then I emailed him back and I said, this is what was agreed upon. You signed off on this. This is the style of the sample I did. I'm just, keeping consistency here and working, based on, the style that I had, that everybody signed off on. So then he's like, well, I want it to look more like Walter. So can you not be so heavy-handed? And so I was like, okay. And then it's like, and also, by the way, can you rework the pages you already did?
Oof.
And I'm like, what?
I didn't hear that part of the story. That's crazy.
Yeah, there was a batch of pages, Taylor, that I redid. And you don't know how breaking. Oh my gosh, it was so
Work
hard.
you already did.
Well, but then you had to make it worse. Like what I had to do is I had to, instead of putting my A game out there, I had to go my B game. You know what I mean? To make only one person, well, I guess two, Walter and Kevin, because Walter never expressed any of this stuff to me, by the way. It was all through Kevin, and then eventually the Dito couldn't handle it anymore, so he passed it on to another editor. So the Dito even walked away from this craziness. And so then, I'm working. I turn in another batch, and then it's like, I still don't see enough Walter here. So I'm like, what?
Then get Walter to do it.
Because I'm starting to think now, like, that stylistically this book is going to be all over the place. Because this was the style that was agreed upon, and then, it starts changing as it's going along. And so then, he goes, this is what I want. This is a story that Walter and I have dreamt of. He always has like this flowery, like, this is all we've ever wanted to do as a Batman project together, and this is really important, and if Walter isn't happy with it, then what's the point? And it just became like this thing for Walter. It wasn't about my career or what DC wanted or anything like that. It was just about like Walter this and Walter that.
Well, and it's coming from him, not Walter.
Yeah, Walter was always like it always seemed like everything was good between Walter and I, because Walter never really expressed any of this stuff to me. And so then, a little bit more of my soul gets sucked out. And so at this point, I'm kind of like C and D level, like inking. I'm not saying that the line was bad quality or anything like that, but I was definitely not doing the level of work that I was paid for. And then at one time, I emailed the Dito and I said, I feel bad taking this money from you. I said, just give me a normal page rate because I'm not doing what I was hired to do from you. And he said, oh God, he could tell like the frustration. He said, don't worry about it. So I was doing some of the worst work of my career at a really, really high page rate, which was really, I felt horrible. I really did. And so then, long story short, we get through the series. It was going to be 12 issues. So then, I guess in true Kevin Smith fashion, I guess it was too much for him to do, or some scheduling conflicts or whatever it was. So then he decided to split the 12 issues into 6 issue like series. So there was 6 issues and 6 issues. And so it was San Diego. That's right. We were coming on San Diego Comic-Con, and there was going to be a big panel, like a Walter Flanagan, Kevin Smith, R.T. Bear, panel at San Diego. So I wanted to sell pages. So I asked them, I said, could I bring pages? Because I'm going to be in an artist alley and everything like that. And they're like, no. And I was like, well, why not? And then they said, we will sell them. We have a table, like I guess Kevin Smith and whatever have a table, and we're going to sell the pages. And then, so, I'm a freelancer. I need to know things. This is income. You know what I mean? Like everything that we do is so based on, everything's a dollar sign, I guess. Everything is money. Time is money, all those cliches. And so I started asking questions like, how is this going to work? Because to me, if I wasn't in control and I couldn't sell these pages, then I had to rely on somebody else. And so if I was going to rely on somebody else, I needed to know some fundamental facts. And so I started asking him questions about it. He goes, why? He emails me back. He goes, why, sir? Why do you always have to ask so many questions? He goes, why can you not just do what I ask of you? And I was like, okay.
Man.
And I was like, okay. So I dropped it, and we didn't sell one single page at that San Diego Comic Convention. And I was not asked one single question at that panel at San Diego because Kevin talked the whole time. He didn't ask me one question. And it was being televised, and my daughter, who's awesome, and my wife were there. And so the only question that was asked was from my daughter. Because they went to the crowd, they had microphones and television cameras and all this other stuff. And so she stood up and she asked me a question. I forget what it was. So
that was cool.
Yeah. So that was my experience with Kevin Smith.
The Kevin Smith experience, if you will.
Yeah. So to smash cut to present day, we were supposed to do the second 6 issues. We got through 3 issues. Kevin flaked, and I have 3 issues of Batman artwork in my studio here, collecting dust.
Yet unclaimed.
I'm still thinking I need to sell that stuff.
I mean, how long has it been?
Years.
I don't think he's very interested in getting it.
Yeah, I don't either.
Draken says, sounds like a lot more issues there than 12.
Good one. I wanted to laugh out loud. It was pretty funny. Yeah, so I don't know. I got to meet Kevin, his family, his wife, and his 2 girls and stuff
Harley
like that.
Quinn.
His Harley Quinn, yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I guess it was okay. I just think that people... I guess there are fans that really think he's pretty amazing, and I grew up in a time where Kevin Smith was kind of touted as the savior of comics. Like he was somehow like this major liaison between Hollywood and comic books, and so he was going to be that guy that took comic books and made them authentic, and that kept the spirit and kept, I guess fought for the fans and the true comic book experience to Hollywood to make it, seem legit. And I don't think he ever really did that.
Yeah, I mean, he just wrote a story where Batman peed his pants. That was his example of his storytelling concerning superheroes.
Yeah, and like his early claim to fame was that Superman script with Nicolas Cage and all that.
And that's pretty infamous.
And the thing is, like, he distanced himself from that pretty early on. Like, oh yeah, I wrote it, but man, you should have seen the production and all the guys and stuff like that. They were all a bunch of morons and whatever, this, that, and the other thing. But the fact is, he wasn't the savior. He didn't, he didn't change anything. He still was part of that crap machine that was apparently so bad that the whole production was shut down.
Yeah.
That's not good. And you wrote the story, dude.
I feel like it was preemptively, like, he left so that he could distance himself and not get the blame and lose his, like, nerd cred.
I think that's exactly what he did.
Because, like...
And then he threw everybody else under the bus. Like, it was all them.
Yeah. Because, if that movie were to come out, it would majorly damage him, like, it would damage his credibility.
Well, I think his screenplay didn't it kind of show up at some point?
Yeah, apparently you can read it online.
So people got to see, like, what he wrote.
The only thing I remember about it was there's a part where Superman goes to, like, the Fortress of Solitude, and he has, like, polar bear guards. That's the only part I remember. I don't remember if I read the whole thing. I just remember at that point I'm like, this is strange. And I think they talk about it because there's a documentary that we watched that was really good about the making of that movie.
Oh, they show the Nicolas Cage suit and everything?
Yes.
Yeah. He's got long hair, right? Like Nicolas Cage got long hair.
Yeah, he does. It was an interesting watch. For sure. So if you guys are curious about that, it can be found on YouTube. I forget the name of it. I remember we were trying to watch it. I remember somebody uploaded like a fake one.
I don't know, in many ways it's still better than the Zack Snyder version.
Yeah.
At least it seemed like it was fun in a nutty, absurd way.
At least in an entertaining manner.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen it just like I would in a parallel universe. I'm sure it exists. Nicolas Cage playing the long-haired Superman.
It was Nicolas Cage, and it was Tim Burton, right?
It was, yes. Everybody forgets about that part. We may never know what it would have been like. Maybe it would have been the best Superman movie ever, but everybody abandoned the project, so...
Yeah, they pulled out of that pretty quickly.
And no one really ever talks about it either.
But that was his initial claim to fame. And then, the thing is, I'm a big Green Hornet fan. I like the character. I like the whole mythology of it. And then, I guess, I kind of been following the Hollywood trajectory of the Green Hornet for years. At one point, you guys, there was George Clooney attached as Britt Reed and Eddie Murphy as Kato. No. It wasn't Eddie Murphy. There was another version where Eddie Murphy was the Green Hornet. Yeah, so those were two different versions.
Oh, man. If only we lived in a universe where Eddie Murphy was the Green Hornet and Nicolas Cage was Superman.
Yeah, I guess the stories we could have had, right?
Maybe Kevin can still tell them with the question.
Probably will.
P Money says, maybe Kevin should remain like Bob, silent.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I seem like I'm bagging. I really don't. The main thing is I don't dislike him, but I definitely think he's a little bit blowhardy, and I don't think he's quite the comic book savior that he was originally kind of toted around at being.
If you like him, you have to at least admit that, I would say.
And I think his movies are mildly entertaining. Clerks, I absolutely think is horrible, and I don't get it. I don't understand it. I thought for a lot of years it's because I'm not a East Coast guy. I'm a West Coast guy, and that maybe it was all East Coast humor. But I've watched it since, and I just don't think it's funny at all or entertaining.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier, how there's supposedly, according to Kevin, actually, there's an ending of Clerks that was supposed to air in the original cut that they didn't because they said it was too depressing. I guess you can watch it. Like, it was filmed and everything. That was cut. That makes the movie at least seem like it had a point. And kind of changes the whole context of the movie.
I like the Clerks cartoon, the short-lived cartoon that...
That's right.
That Steven Silver did. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Nuts, man.
It almost worked better as a cartoon. It was almost like regular show before regular show.
Actually, it was. It was just kind of a lot of non sequiturs and weird stuff that was happening.
Yeah, kind of interesting. I'm trying to save this page right now, and for some reason they're out of sequence again.
Yeah, we're trying to bring pages together while we're talking to you, so we're not always going to be the most entertaining.
Yeah, sorry if you heard that boop boop boop. I had to situate page 49. Let's see. Draken says, I'm all for Nick Cage as Superman. And Ray Thulu says, yeah, I've always wished they finished that. Nick Cage should play every role ever.
There was some nutty stuff going on, and I applauded it because I thought, I might be wrong, but they brought Brainiac into that story.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, with the skull ship and everything, and I was like, oh man, I want to see that movie.
Because in the documentary, they show like designs of the skull ship, right?
It looked freaking cool.
Yes, it was very cool. Wow, I forgot about that. That documentary is actually very good. I wish I remembered the name of it.
I think Brainiac's a great character.
He is. They haven't really like utilized him in stuff outside of the comics. I guess he's been in a few cartoons.
Yeah, the film they just keep for some reason going, oh, it has to be Lex Luthor. It's just kind of like the movies, the Batman movies. Oh, it's got to be the Joker. Really, there's a whole rogues gallery out there, man.
Yeah, and Superman has an interesting rogues gallery as well.
And then Hollywood's go, oh, well, we'll bring in Doomsday. You know what? I'm sorry. I hope I'm not stepping on very many toes, but that was definitely an event. That Doomsday character was not that interesting. He was just a tour de force. He was just a guy that was going to beat Superman physically.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they did this in one of the cartoons, but I remember saying it even in the day. Like, I always thought that Lex had to be the one that killed Superman. Like, no one cares if it's just this alien from outer space. Like, they don't have time invested in that.
It's not personal either.
Yeah, if anybody was going to do it, it would have to be Lex. And so, I thought if they wanted to bring this big tour de force character in and just physically beat and kill Superman, I thought it had to be orchestrated by Lex Luthor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like it worked better for me that way, because Lex couldn't beat him physically, but Lex realized that, you know, he could get somebody to do that, or find somebody, or when this situation presented itself, he used it against Superman.
Something more personal.
Yeah, because that story is just really that character pummeling Superman for, you know, pages and pages and pages and pages and pages.
Until he dies.
Yeah, it goes on for a long time.
Leave him alone.
Exactly. What has he done? It's like Zack Snyder before Zack Snyder.
He's been through enough.
He lost his parents. His dad had a heart attack.
I did have a friend that had like a meltdown about Superman that was similar to what I just parodied. Because there's that, I forget what comic it's from, but somebody was posting like great compilation pages and layouts, and one of them was like Clark when he was young. I wish I knew from what run it was, and it was about he didn't want to go to prom. And his parents were like, oh, you have to go. And they showed the reason he didn't want to go is because he can't really interact with anybody. So, like, they drop him off at prom. He didn't ask out Lana because he didn't want to, you know, really have any attachments and stuff there. He's young. And he's Superman, so he can't get too involved with, like, human beings at that point. So they show him just sitting at the prom alone, watching everybody else interact. And you just see, like, Martha's voiceover with, you know, Pa Kent. And she's like, oh, I hope he's okay. And, you know, his dad's just like, oh, I'm sure he's fine. He can't be hurt. And it's just Superman looking super sad at prom. And then just, like, leaving. One friend was just like, hasn't he been through enough at this point? Like, like, leave him alone.
But, I mean, that fundamentally is the character. The character, it's not about him being hurt physically. He's a human being.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. He's godlike, you know, if you want to take Zack Snyder's over-exaggeration. But the thing is, he can be hurt emotionally. He's a human being.
Yeah. Unlike in Brightburn, where he's just a psychopath. You
should tell him your idea for Brightburn, too.
I can't take credit for that amazing idea. Here at Hack Shack, we're always brainstorming.
But please tell him.
Somebody in the studio,
not me,
was pitching an idea about a Brightburn-esque idea that would be equally strange, possibly more fun, and open up a whole universe for James Gunn to play with Brightburn in. And did we come up with a title?
I thought we did. It was something like See No Evil or not Hear No Evil.
Ooh, I like Hear No Evil.
Hear No Evil. Yeah, something like, I don't know.
So there's a boy billionaire, and maybe he's deaf, maybe someone he loves is deaf, but either way, you know, deafness is a part of his life. So he starts putting in funds, and I'm assuming he's smart, right? He's like...
He's super smart, wins all the, you know, the science fairs and stuff, yeah.
and he tries to make a cure for deafness. A cure, made from bats, because bats have, I was going to say they have echolocation, but that's nothing to do with deafness. Bats have excellent hearing, and if you're going to choose any animal to fix something related to hearing, bats are the way to go.
It's like a sonar, I think, don't they? That, like,
yes.
That's waves and stuff that bounce. It's kind of like...
the echolocation.
Like, was it... oh my gosh. Daredevil.
Yes. So, bats have that superpower already in real life. So he starts experimenting with it. Maybe he starts experimenting on himself. And it has some... it works. But there's some side effects that were not foreseen. Some sinister side effects, if you will.
Yeah, so it's kind of like Batman meets the Fly, right? So this Bruce Wayne character, this kid, because of, like Taylor said, either he's deaf or he knows somebody, maybe even his mom or something. Maybe that's how she gets into trouble later in the story.
I like this.
So then, that's it. So they're on the street. So Taylor said this is how the movie should open. So they're on the street. So we basically recreate that moment where it changes listen to me, Bruce forever, where, there's the, what's his, Joe Chill moment where he's going to shoot the parents. And so we have that. And so the guy's got the gun. He's like, give me all your jewels. Give me your money. And so maybe the mom doesn't hear him right or something.
Oh, I like this. I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, so maybe because she's deaf and she's like, what? And so he thinks she's messing with him, but she actually just can't really hear him right. So then she goes, or he attacks, he shoots the mom. Joe Chill shoots the mom. And so then the dormant, bat genes, with cells that are fussing around inside young Bruce, he finally snaps and he becomes kind of bat-like, and so then he just attacks that guy and he kills him brutally. Like, he just kills him so brutally. And so Thomas Wayne, the dad, is watching all this stuff. So then Thomas picks up a gun and then he aims it at his son, and he's like, you gotta stop, because it's so brutal. You gotta stop. And so then that's kind of the origin, right? The dad even turns against him. He's a monster, So that's how the story would begin. So Brightburn-esque.
And then we open up to, Brightburn versus this other character, and we can have the final showdown of evil superpowered children.
Yeah, so it would be like Brightburn versus... what would it be? B versus G? I don't know.
If we follow Brightburn's logic and it was a name like Gotham, then yeah, it would be like B versus G.
Yeah, so we do that. Because, the idea is that if James Gunn could come up with such a stupid premise, then hell, I can do that too.
Ray Thulu says, or Draken says, dolphins have the same power, I believe, even better. Why does no one make Dolphin Man?
Because it's based on Batman. Jeez.
And dolphins have a permanent smile curved on their face.
And they kill.
They do, hardcore.
They kill with a smile on their face.
They do. They're the Jokers of the sea.
Ooh. Brightburn, the Batman Brightburn's villain could be a Joker-esque dolphin.
Yeah, that'd be terrifying. Dolphins are pretty cool.
He has a fish tail to tell him. So yeah, so that would be Brightburn 2.
B versus G. You can go ahead and tell James Gunn. We're gunning for him.
Yeah, we have his follow-up. Yeah, it's going to make him $1 billion.
Still sounds better than Brightburn.
It's just as stupid as Brightburn.
And actually, at least the character's more sympathetic. Whereas Brightburn introduces you to the kid that they cast. I don't like to pick on people's appearances, but that kid looks creepy already. Even if they cast him as a normal kid, he has no lips and he has very beady, unsympathetic eyes. It was a little on the nose.
It was a little too good. It wasn't like, Damien, who was a cute kid.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't exactly unassuming.
It's like if you looked about it, or you thought back, you go, yeah, why didn't I see this earlier?
Sticky Wicked says, that'd be cool. Maybe working some elephants. They have great memory. That's nothing to do with deafness, Sticky Wicked.
Well, now I feel like you're just messing with me.
I don't know, though. Are there elephant-themed superheroes besides the Elephant Men?
Ooh, we just do a whole, like, Brightburn Elephant Man story.
Ooh.
This deformed kid that looks like the Elephant Man.
It always bugged me that the Elephant Men in the comic, like, one of them's like a hippo and one of them's a rhino.
There's an Elephant Man in the comics?
There's a comic called Elephant Man.
Is that the Richard Starking's book?
I believe so, yeah. They're like super soldiers. They're made in Africa and they're like African animals.
I thought it was Hip Flask. Or is this something different?
No, this is something different. I'll find the creator right now. It's been around for a while. They were like hard to find when I was first.
It sounds really familiar.
I think I have brought it in before. I know you've heard of it before me bringing it though, because it's been around for like a long time. The artwork's pretty good. Elephant Man. It was published by Image Comics, Richard Starkings.
It is Richard.
And
okay.
with art by Moritat and a number of other artists. It was pretty good. I think Hip Flask is a character from Elephant Man.
Because Hip Flask is a hippo, right?
Yeah, he is. He's the hip. Yeah, he is a character that was from Elephant Man. I think he had a spin-off. Why do I know all this? All right. Issue number 1 was released July 2006. Quick overview. 200 years from now, the Mappo Corporation, headed by the misanthropic and megalomaniac Japanese scientist, Dr. Kazushi Niken, breeds human-animal hybrids in a secure, top-secret facility somewhere in North Africa. The hybrids are composed of numerous African animals, including warthogs, elephants, camels, zebras, rhinos, hippos, giraffes, hyenas, and crocodiles. The process involves implanting embryos. Okay, so you get the drift. It was all right. It probably got really good, but I never got to read the whole thing.
I don't know. It's been going on for a while now.
Yeah. The artwork's pretty good.
I have a logo designed for Chrono Mechanics by Richard Starking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, somewhere around here.
I wonder if we could dig it up somewhere. Ooh.
At some point.
Sorry, I was straining to pick up my water bottle.
He kind of burst my bubble. He was like, when I pitched in the original idea, he was like, there's too many things going on here. You can't do this in a successful logo.
Really?
So, yeah, so you know what I did?
Did it anyway?
I did it anyway. I hired somebody else to do it. And it frickin' rocks, and it's the one that's out now.
Yeah, it's very good. I think it's very good.
Thank you. So when people tell you can't do something, you know what you do?
Find a way to make it work?
You frickin' do it anyway! Even when one of the best letters in the business tells you you can't do it.
Dolphins are evil, says Jirakin. I know, because when you're intelligent, you always have the capacity for evil.
Well, don't they say, like, God, I might have this wrong, but dolphins will, like, maniacally play something to death. Like, they know that they're killing it, but they're just kind of getting off on it.
Yeah, dolphins have actual morality. There are good dolphins and bad dolphins.
Because I think I saw them, like, there was a clip or something of them playing, and they kind of knew that they were going to kill this thing.
Is that what oh, God. I know what you're talking about.
I want to say it's a seal.
I was going to say a baby seal, but I don't know if it's them or not. Because I don't think dolphins would eat that. They eat fish and stuff. I know that orcas eat seals, which may be what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I don't know. Man,
I'm really interested in Elephant Men now that I'm looking into it.
You like animal books.
They're alright.
You like the Black Sad, right?
Yeah, it looks kind of similar to Black Sad.
Black Sad is brilliantly drawn.
It is. It really is. Still waiting for that next album.
Did you ever get a drawing from that guy?
No, I didn't.
Hand turkey?
I wish. He's on the hand turkey list.
You gotta tell him, the hand turkey story.
Oh yeah, if you guys don't know, I collect artist hand turkeys. So it's easier than getting a sketch. I have quite a collection at this point. And I have some good ones.
You have some great ones.
I still need an RT Bear hand turkey.
Never.
I have Adam Hughes. I have a lot of them.
But you have like a Dustin Nguyen or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan Otley.
Oh, that Ryan Otley one is amazing.
That's one of my favorite ones.
Okay, bring him in tomorrow. We're going to show off your hand turkey
I'll bring
collection.
him in. Eric Powell.
Eric Powell, oh my gosh.
I got Stan Sakai. Jaime Hernandez. I'll bring them in. There's quite a few. Bottlenose dolphins outright waged war on any pod of porpoises they come across, says Ray Thulu.
Man, Ray Thulu knows everything.
He really...
Between him and Durakin.
I know, you guys know everything.
We should go on, what is that, Alex Trebek show? Jeopardy?
Oh, yeah.
We should go on Jeopardy.
He's getting better, by the way. His cancer's in remission.
Good.
I know. I'm glad. Wait a minute. Is this a new black set I didn't know about? I'm going to be real mad if that's the case.
You were just talking about you wanted a new one.
I know. Oh, no, it's not. It's not out yet. Never mind. It's confusing because they come out in Europe first and they have different covers. So sometimes it seems like they're, new. But it's not.
But it's not.
It's the one that I got.
But bad news, it's not.
Yeah. Someday.
Someday.
Ray Thulu says, any animal smart enough to recognize itself in a mirror, which dolphins do, is probably smart enough to be intentionally evil.
Yeah, I can't remember this clip, but I remember like they were showing this clip and they were doing something that was really, it was maniacal.
Horrible.
It was horrible, yeah.
Yeah. They what the heck? There was a Black Sad video game?
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh, I'm out of the loop with this. But that's not what that's not what we're here for.
That's not what we're here for.
Not getting distracted by Black Sad.
Taylor, what are we here for?
We're here for creating comics.
Yes.
Like black and white. Like, look at that. That perfect eyebrow.
No one does eyebrows like myself.
I know, you do some good eyebrows.
The best brows in the business.
There's just enough grain to them.
Do you see this right here? Do you see this? I didn't have the guts to make this sweep by hand, which I could have done, but I brought out the French curve and then ink got trapped underneath it.
Oh, it looks intentional.
Does it?
I thought it was like a little. Oh no, never mind.
I failed publicly.
No, it's cool. They don't mind.
They don't mind when I fail.
Ray Thulu says, tag to slip Art some Rufinol?
What?
And use his hand to make a turkey while he's passed out.
Oh, man. Yeah, roofie me in the studio.
That's terrible.
Wow, you're sick.
Rohypnol.
It's like a roofie, right? Like a roofie?
Well, Rufilin's a roofie. I don't know what Rohypnol is. Are they the same thing?
Well, it's pretty darn close. It's got to be similar.
I'm glad I don't know.
Yeah, but if you opened her backpack, she's probably got a whole bottle of it.
Just in case.
Just in case somebody steps out of line.
They refuse the hand turkey.
All right. Well, we've gone a while. I got this panel done.
Sweet.
We've talked about some cool stuff. Oh, we got to give away a print, right?
We do. Do you guys remember the secret code?
Yeah, what is that secret code?
I gotta grab a print.
Should we not tell them and see if they remember it?
Let's see if they remember it.
Let's see how many people remember it. So start typing it in the chat. And whoever we pick in the chat will get a free print that we came up with just to thank you guys for supporting Black and White and supporting this channel. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure all of the prints have gone out up to this point. So if you haven't got your print, let us know. And if you got your prints, you guys post them up. Tag me or Taylor in it, or both of us, and let us see them. It would be cool. It makes us feel good.
Yeah, Yeah, definitely.
Like we're doing something worthwhile here.
All right, I found them.
We're not just, you know what? Well, while she's waiting, I'm gonna dazzle you guys with a random page. All right, here's a random page, you guys, from the book, from the sketchbook. Boom! Commission section. Look at this, Abby from Swamp Thing.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Uh-oh, another page.
No, don't give him too
Oh
many.
no, another page. Ah! Oh, wait.
That is a good one.
If this doesn't sell the book, I don't know what will. It's Adam West, man.
Sticky Wiggins says dolphins are being smeared in the chat. I know, everybody's talking about how horrible dolphins are.
Dolphins are horrible.
What's not horrible is this print that you can get if you type in the code phrase now.
Do we have any codes being typed?
Not yet. Should we just tell them?
Oh, man. Now I feel like no one's watching.
They're watching. They're just not participating.
They're holding out. They want to hear your sultry voice one more time.
My computer smells like burning.
There is something burning.
It's not this.
I think it's coming from my daughter's room.
Oh no. I don't know if that's good or bad.
He's doing some kind of juju in there. Some kind of supernatural chants.
Alright, let's give him the phrase.
Give him the phrase.
If you guys want to get this print, all you gotta do is type in the chat, "From the ashes."
That's what these guys right here are chanting.
They are. They're screaming it. From the ashes.
They're like, "From the ashes." This is my rebel fist.
So if you type in "From the ashes," we will put your name in a hat, and one of you guys is gonna get this print.
Do you need paper?
I do. I'm gonna start searching.
Here, write it on the back of that.
No, this is too pivotal.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Oh, you got to rip it up though,
I know.
right?
Yeah, hold on.
There's
All
paper.
right. I got paper, and we're gonna give you guys a little bit, a bit of time to start typing in those "From the ashes."
So if you guys want this print, send it to your home. Taylor and I will sign it up for you guys. It's a little thank you for all the support and just giving a little bit back. And don't forget, this is the countdown to the finale. Black and White is going to close out. The Indiegogo is going to close out the end of this month. So if you want to pick up a Black and White book, if you want to pick up a Oodles of Doodles art book, they are up there.
And please help us spread the word that and Ray Thulu, by the way, to answer your question, he says, "Is it still From the Ashes like last week?" Yes, it is.
Ooh, thank you. See, typed it in so now everybody can see it. Ray's the best.
He is. He's a good pal. Don't forget, help us spread the word about the fact that Black and White is ending, because we don't want anybody to miss out who may have been holding out since it was in demand.
Yeah, so we can get the numbers up, and so we can get a good, accurate print run.
The print is beautiful, so Sticky Wicked.
Thanks, Sticky. Oh, wait. He was the last winner, right?
I believe he was the last winner.
I think I saw your print being packed up, and it may have gone out today.
Pretty cool.
Yes.
All right. So far, we have 2 people.
We got to get more.
You guys got to spread the word about From the Ashes, or I'm going to have to pick between 2 of you.
So please, you guys, start typing in From the Ashes.
And I think one of you's already won. Which means that...
You're disqualified.
Yeah, there's one person that's going to get it if you guys don't chime in.
That means the drama that we're trying to build right now, the excitement, is going to be a moot point. I don't mind. As long as somebody gets it. Wait, I should move this up and down because I don't think you can see the whole thing in the image.
That's true.
Boom.
If you guys want it, you're going to have to beat Jay Potts to it. Otherwise, he's going to get this print.
Jay Potts. And please, Jay Potts, I hope that you're from the U.S. Not that I have a problem with the rest of the world. Just the shipping becomes problematic.
Shipping is so expensive, you guys.
Yeah, so if you guys are from, in another country or whatever, we appreciate you hanging out with us. And I do want to get you a print, but we'll have to figure out somehow some more cost-effective way of getting the print to you. I think one of the prints that we sent, it was to Brazil or something, we ended up folding it, because if we can fold it, then we can put it into a envelope, and it's a lot less money than, because the way we send these is in a tube. We actually put them in a tube, so they're quality scent.
All right, I think we should call it a J Potts.
I wonder who won.
J Potts is the winner of this one.
J Potts. Let me see.
He was also the first. Make sure it's not backwards because someone else's name is on the back, but they have already won.
Okay. So this is J Potts. I'm gonna put this on the back of the print so you can make sure you get it. And should we sign this up for Jay?
Yeah, let's sign this up and send us your info, Jay, through the contact. Oh man, Knox just jumped in here. You're too late. I'm sorry.
Doggone it!
You held off. You don't want to have that happen.
I think there's a delay though, because I saw my fist come in there later, so there might be a serious delay. Are you watching it live there?
I am watching it live right now, so I don't think so. I mean, there's always a slight delay. But what was I gonna say? Anyway, you don't want to wait. You don't want to wait on getting your book like that because the 30th is the last.